How's it going, guys and gals? Welcome back to another video. Tomas Patterson here with Boss Financial, and I hope you guys are excited as I am today, okay? Because in this video, I'm going to share with you the simple method on how to join the Millionaire Club. That's right, you heard me correctly. If you follow the simple steps that I'm going to share with you today, then you can finally say that you are the proud owner of $1 million, okay? And the best part is that anyone could do this, okay? It's not hard, it requires minimal legwork, and it's pretty easy, okay? It's not confusing at all. And believe me, guys, trust me, this isn't some sort of scam, okay? It's not a pyramid schemey type video. I just remember, I'm here for your education only, and I'm never going to force you to do anything. So I'm just hoping that you're going to be able to take some knowledge away from this and use it to make some valuable decisions in your own life. I just feel like there's this huge misconception when it comes to wealth, okay? Just most people, they don't understand or they underestimate the actual value of a dollar, and because of this, they don't realize that you don't need to have a crazy high-paying job, okay? You don't need to come from a family with money, okay? You don't need inheritance. You don't need to be well educated. You don't even have to start a business, okay? Well, this is definitely going to help you if you're successful, but for the strategy I'm going to show you today, you don't even need to do that, okay? It's very simple. So that strategy coming right up, but just make sure that if you enjoy this video, if you get any sort of value whatsoever from this, just make sure that you smash the like button for me, you hit the subscribe button, and become part of the financial community. I post regular videos every week, so if this is the content that interests you, then you found the right channel. So, millionaire status, how can you get there? First things first, okay, numero uno, I just want to mention that if you're younger and you're watching this, okay, if you're in your 20s, even your 30s, then you're going to benefit the most from this strategy I'm going to tell you, because unlike everyone else in the world, okay, you have the advantage of time on your side. So you should feel just really excited if you are younger, because you have the best chances of reaching this $1 million milestone, okay? The reason that age is important is not because of knowledge, it's not because of experience, anything regarding that whatsoever. It's due to the fact that you're younger, so therefore you have the ability to take advantage of the magical power of compound interest. In short, compound interest is interest that earns you interest. And then that interest that the interest earned, it earns you interest as well. And you're not even going to believe this, okay? That interest, it also earns you interest. So by definition, this compounds and it increases and increases at a dramatic rate as time goes on. An important variable here is time, okay? So that's why it's imperative. It's extremely important that if you haven't started already, you get started ASAP. You get started now because you're going to give yourself the best chances to get the highest returns possible and reach your $1 million. Now let's oversimplify things, okay? Let's say you have a stray cat that hangs around your house, okay? One day you accidentally let him into your house by mistake, and you're scrambling, he's running around. By the time you actually get him out, he's dropped 3 fleas, okay? And now these fleas are free to roam your house and breed. Now I'm not an entomologist or anything, okay? I don't even know if a flea is an insect. Somebody look that up for me and put that in the comments down below, if a flea is an insect, but it doesn't matter. That's besides the point. Let's say if you let these fleas breed for about a week and then you find out that they multiplied, okay, you're going to call an exterminator and you're probably only going to have to rid a small amount. Once again, I'm not an expert, but let's say you have to kill 100 fleas. Now let's say in another situation, you decide to go on a vacation or a long trip right after that cat got in your house and you're gone for a month, okay? Well, chances are by the time you get back, you're gonna have way more fleas and your pets are just gonna go crazy itching themselves. Let's say now you don't have 100, you don't have 1,000, but now you have 10,000 fleas running around your house, okay? Because this extra 3 weeks allowed not only the fleas to breed, but then their offspring also bred, and their offspring's offspring also bred. And it's just literally a compounding effect there. So now from those 3 original pesky guys that fell off in your house, you now have 10,000, and that is the power of compounding, okay, guys? With compounding, growth starts small, okay? Even insignificant at times, but as time goes on, your investment not only grows, okay, but then this growth also earns growth. And this just continues on. It's a continuous process, but this can also be drastically improved, okay? You can increase this growth by making regular additions. So now let's say this cat was ruthless, okay? He knew you guys were going to be taking a trip and he gathered up all his buddies. He found a way into the house, and this whole time you were gone for a month, they're making trips in and out of the house, making regular deposits of fleas, adding to the compounding, okay? What these regular deposits are going to do is act as a catalyst, okay, for your compounding to increase, and this growth is going to be significantly higher. By the time you come home from that trip, okay, you might have to quarantine the house. There's going to be a lot of fleas there. So, how can we replace these fleas with your dollars? Because after all, we're trying to grow your wealth, right? Compounding, that's the secret to this $1 million strategy. Well, you want something that's going to give you a nice return with good growth over time, okay? Enter the index fund. I mentioned index funds in previous videos, but basically what an index fund is, it's a pooling of individual stocks or companies into one convenient fund. What this allows for is maximum diversification, okay? Because you don't have to go around individually picking stocks where you're going to have some winners, but you could also have some losers. With an index fund, you're going to get access to a broad variety, and this is going to significantly reduce your risk, okay? So, for example, instead of buying a few companies, you can buy an index for the whole industry, okay? And then you own a very, very small percentage of that whole industry. So over time, you're going to get the total return of that whole industry, okay? Which hopefully is going to grow. And don't let this scare you or intimidate you, okay? Don't click away saying, oh, this is clickbait. Just because this is the stock market doesn't mean that you're in way over your head or that this isn't something that's possible given your circumstances. Let me assure you that investing in index funds, okay, it's as easy to buy as your Amazon Prime stuff, okay? You search, you click, and you buy. An 18-year-old can do this. Heck, your 80-year-old grandma can do this, okay? All you need is an access to internet connection and you need money to invest. As we said, indexes allow you to own a whole sector of the market as opposed to just individual stocks, okay? So this is going to benefit you because while you're growing your money, while you're growing your portfolio, you don't want to have to worry about losing money due to individual stocks, okay? So now you're going to rely on the average growth between everything in the fund. This is great, guys, because fund managers, these are very knowledgeable, very wealthy people. They get paid a lot to manage these funds. They're the bigwigs. They have been proven to not even be able to beat the market every year. 95% of fund managers end up falling below the benchmark of the total stock market return, okay? So that's why it's important to expose yourself to more than just individual stocks, because if you have one or even two individual stocks that do terrible, this could take a chunk out of your returns, okay? Just it can eat up your portfolio, really. Even Warren Buffett, okay, the stock market guru, this guy's the pioneer of value investing. He said that he has trouble beating the S&P 500 every year. So you have arguably one of the best, if not the best investors of all time who can't even beat the average return of the stock market himself. So what better choice to diversify your money than the stock market as a whole? There are ETFs that replicate the S&P 500 and the stock market as a whole, which, guys, in case you didn't know, this has averaged about 8% a year for decades and decades to investors. The stock market is one of your safest and best investments because it's a good reflection, it's an excellent reflection of the economy as a whole. Yes, the stock market can dip, you can lose money, it can even crash, okay? And I feel like this is a huge reason, a major reason why people sway away. They're intimidated by the stock market and don't invest because they just don't want to see red numbers on their screen. But guys, one thing I will promise you is that this is just wrong thinking, okay? It's really unnecessary to think like this. It's actually ignorant, if you will, if you're investing for the long term, that is. The market has been proven to always bounce back. It's always going to grow over time. So my best advice is to just continue buying. Don't worry about the stock price because it's going to grow over time. This is why they say that time in the market beats timing the market. Because this isn't some overnight trick, okay? This isn't some magic quick way to get $1 million. This is a proven way. This is a safe way to grow your wealth, but it's going to take time. And that's really the truth. The fact that it's actually very easy to become a millionaire, but people, they just want the secret on how to do it overnight, okay? They don't want to work. They don't want to spend their time on it. They just want the money. And chances are, guys, that's not going to happen, okay? You can get lucky, but that's not really going to happen. You have to have a time horizon of like 20 plus years at least if you want to really increase your wealth and grow your income. Ideally, if you're 20 and you start investing by retirement, okay, that's 45 years for your money to grow, okay? And the final results, they can really outstand you. You can even retire early if you're extremely committed. So how are you going to go about this? It's simple. Open a trading account and start depositing money in there, okay? And then buy indexes, ETFs, that replicate the stock market as a whole, which we've said returns 8% average a year to investors year over year. So some years it could be higher, some years it could be lower, but it's on average you get this 8% return. So that's why it's important to have a long-term perspective. You need to make deposits to this account every month and keep buying over time if you want to watch your money grow. I have some examples here with some numbers, but let me remind you, the younger you are, the better off you're going to be, okay? Compared to when you're older, you're going to have a lot less time for this money to work for you, okay, to compound. And so therefore, you're going to have to invest a lot more money to still net this $1 million by retirement. The key is that you need to be diligent with your money, okay? You need to be really committed about this and always constantly adding money to your portfolio. I've talked about paying yourself first in other videos, but this is extremely important, okay? Because you always want to make sure that you have enough money to grow your investments. And this isn't going to happen if you spend all your money first, okay? So that's why right when you get paid, you need to pay yourself first and deposit money before you pay your bills, before you spend, deposit money into your investing account. Like I said before, I use Qtrade. I'll drop a link in the description down below if you want to check that out. It's a really clean, simple user interface, and the customer service is really good, and you can even get some free money, so check that out. Two good exchange traded funds that you could try investing in are the Vanguard S&P 500 index, ticker symbol VFV. That's on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and this contains 500 of the US's biggest companies, okay? So this is average an annual growth of 9% in the past year and 18% since its inception. Or you could check out the iShares Core S&P US Total Market Index, ticker symbol XUUTSX for that ETF, and it's a fund that seeks to replicate the whole market as well. So it's averaged about 7.5% growth in the past year, as well as 11% since inception there. And these both have very, very low expense ratios, okay? So 0.07% and 0.08% respectively, which is just so low if you compare them to things like mutual funds. But keep in mind, these aren't the only funds, okay? There are tons and tons of indexes out there that you can invest in. Just feel free to do your own research. These are just two of the best, especially me, like I'm from Canada. So there's also ones on the New York Stock Exchange. These are on the Toronto Stock Exchange, but they're tracking the US market anyway, so it doesn't really matter. These are just two of the best when it comes to the total stock market investing. When it comes to investing, it doesn't matter how much money you make. It's all dependent on how much money you can save, okay? How much money you can put away. For example, I know people who are making like $200,000 a year, but then at the end of the day, they're still living broke, okay? Because they spend all their money on all these useless things, all these pointless things. While on the other hand, I know people also who are making 40 grand a year and they still manage to put away $20,000 a year. That's like half their income just by living frugally and making good financial decisions. Your typical millionaire isn't driving around 3 Lamborghinis, okay? Chances are they're your average person who is cautious and they're diligent with their money and they're committed to investing. You don't want to make the mistake of lifestyle creep, okay? Which is when you start making more money, then your expenses, your lifestyle, increases to match this increased income, so everything's the same at the end of the day. If you're poor and you start making more money and then you have lifestyle creep, it doesn't matter about all this extra money because you're still poor. You want to live within or even live below your means, okay? So that means you're not making major lifestyle changes. You're not buying this huge house that's way bigger, way more expensive than you need it to be. You're not going out and blowing all your money at casinos, clubs, or even expensive cars that lose their value pretty much almost immediately. You want to make sure you're buying assets and investing your money. So bottom line, you just need to treat this as a priority, okay? You need to understand the literal value of a dollar and everything this can do for you. And I don't just mean saving, okay? You need to make sure that you're investing because I hate to break it to you, but it's a fact that you will never reach a really wealthy status, okay? Never, if you're not doing any investing. When you save your money, what you're essentially doing is you're removing your money from all the action, okay? You're taking your best players off the field and you're throwing them on the bench. Investing and starting a business are really the only two things that are going to allow you to major up your wealth, okay? Unless you're making just a ridiculous good amount at your job, because the returns on these two things are just that much higher. Because guys, when you save your money, you're actually losing money. You're not saving, you're losing money. Because of inflation, that's an average of 2% a year. So if you saved $100 this year, you put that away, next year that same $100 is only going to be worth $98. So not only did you lose money from letting it sit there, but then you also lost again, okay? You lost the opportunity cost of all the gains you could have got if you would have invested that $100 instead of leaving it sit there. So finally, let's look at some examples here. Here are the exact amounts that you're going to be needing to put away each month if by retirement you want to reach your $1 million. So for these numbers, we're going to assume that you're getting an average return of 7% a year, okay? And like we said, guys, the stock market has returned about 8% a year. So this is even a little conservative, 7%. At 7%, if you're 20 years old, that means you need to put away $300 a month to get $1 million by retirement. That's 45 years of compounding. Say you're a little older now, you're 30 years old, which means you only have 35 years to get to retirement. That's 10 less years. And because of this, your deposits have to be $600, okay? You need to invest $600 a month to reach your $1 million by retirement. And that is double the amount you needed at 20, okay? So that's why it's important to start young, but we're not done there, okay? If you're 40 years old, you're starting to run out of time here, okay? You only have 25 years to retirement, and because of this, you need to deposit and invest $1,300 per month to get your $1 million. So I'm sorry to break it to you, but if you're 50 years old, then every month you need to deposit and invest $3,300 in order to reach your $1 million by retirement, and that's only 15 years, okay? So you really want to try and start as early as you can here. But when it comes to compounding, as we talked about, time is important, but so is the interest rate, okay? So your returns are going to have a big effect on how long it's going to take to grow your money. So now let's say the same example, you're 20 years old with the same $300 investment every month, but instead of getting a 7% return, we're going to say you get an 8% return. So by retirement, just because of this 1% increase on your returns, you're not going to have $1 million, but you're going to have over $1.4 million. In fact, a difference of $380,000, all from just 1% over the time till retirement. But let's not stop there, okay? Let's say the same example, you're 20 years old, you're depositing $300 a month, and you're getting 8%, but you didn't just start with your deposit of $300, okay? Let's say you had some money and you put in an initial $10,000. This $10,000 is going to act as a big base to start compounding earlier, and because of this, by retirement, you're going to have over $1.7 million, okay? So from this initial $10,000, you have an extra $320,000 down the line. And finally, one more example. Let's say, again, you're 20 years old. Let's go back to the 7%, okay? So after 45 years with your $300 a month, you're going to get the $1 million. But now let's say you deposit $400 a month and invest that. Well, by retirement, you're going to have $1.4 million. So that's an increase of $350,000 just by having an extra $100 invested a month. That is the power of compounding. It's remarkable, okay? You can just try so many combinations of money and just never get bored of looking at what time can do for you. There it is in black and white, guys, okay? As long as you're making these continuous deposits and keep investing in the stock market, over time, you're going to reach your financial goals. It's simple. Don't think about selling when the markets are turning, okay? Just ride it out and sit comfortable knowing that your investments are safe, okay? It's going to pay off over time. I'll tell you this, okay? If the market drops badly, even if it crashes, ladies and gentlemen, if this market never recovers, okay, then chances are we got some serious problems, bigger problems than you worrying about getting $1 million, okay? You'll probably be worrying about stocking up on water, ammunition, things like that if the market never comes back up. So in the end, just have faith in Mr. Market and he'll be good to you. You can even benefit by becoming a millionaire tax-free, okay? So if you're holding your investments in your TFSA in Canada, or if you're in the States, holding them in your Roth IRA, but keep in mind, the older you get, this isn't exactly feasible because with these tax advantage accounts, there's a contribution room limit that you can't surpass this. So if you're older, you won't be able to contribute as much as you need to actually hit that magic number. But these accounts, they do still help out drastically. Me, myself, I have a mix of investments between individual stocks. I own indexes, ETFs, stuff like that, but I also own real estate and bonds, okay? So you don't need to just do this ETF only strategy. As time goes on, you're going to figure out, you're going to get more comfortable as you invest and figure out what you're more knowledgeable on and what you enjoy investing in the most. But chances are, if you're the laid back type of person who'd rather put this money in there, leave it, forget about it, let it grow, then indexes are probably great for you. So that's pretty much it, guys. That brings us to the end of today's video. If you're 20 years old, then you can reach $1 million by investing as little as $300 a month, guys, with minimal involvement. If you are older, it becomes more difficult, but is by no means impossible, okay, guys? Not even close. If you enjoyed this video, more importantly, if you learned something, if you had your eyes widened to the reality of just how easy it is to become financially independent and reach some major wealth just by putting your money to work for you, then go ahead and smash that like button for me. Hit the subscribe button, become a part of the family, and also hit that bell icon, okay? If you want to receive notifications every time I drop a video like this, I do post regular content like this, so if this is stuff you're interested in, just like and subscribe. I appreciate it a lot. Questions and comments, leave those in the comments section down below. And also don't forget to get social, okay? Follow me on Instagram at Boss Financial Channel. So if you haven't started investing already, okay, get out of here, okay? What are you still doing here? Go, shoot, make that account, start depositing funds in, and get your wealth up, okay? Because like I always say, the best time to start investing was yesterday. And with that, as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Stay positive and see you next time.